Otari MX5050 VU meter light bulb change, and I think this is, the bulbs are the same for several of the reel-to-reel, so this is probably the same for several of the Otari units, and I'm not exactly sure which all are included, but when you take a look at the bulb that's in here, you will know whether it works or not. Okay, this one, 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. The knobs, actually, you should probably take the knobs off first. The inside one comes off. It has 2 Allen head, 90 degrees to each other. Don't try and pry it off after loosening up one. And they do fit on a little snug. They do need a little work after loosening up. This one slips right off. We've got 3 knobs we do that with, and then this little panel is going to come up. Sort of tucks underneath. There we go. Sort of fits into this groove and then drops down. So we're going to get out, pull it up. Here are our meters. The meter covers just pry off. You can usually do it with your hand. You may need a screwdriver. If it's been a while, they come off like that. Come on. Do need to lift sort of straight up because they do get caught underneath the housing there. Be very careful of the meter movement. There is a little adjuster. You can see that in there. It's twisted around by a screwdriver there, and it fits into there, and that is to center the meter. We talk a little bit about that when we put it back on. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'd already taken these off, but the old meter lights fit just like that. If you can see that, just kind of go do this a little differently so we can get a bit of a close-up here. All right. What you see there is the old original frosted bulb on top that's already been removed, and there's a new bulb that I've already soldered in place. You can see the new bulb is a little bit shorter, and of course it's not frosted. I can't find those. And let's get that old one out of there. Sorry about that. All right, what I do is I tape the bulb in place where I want it, and I bend the leads down over the solder pads, and then solder it in place, and then just cut the excess wire off. What you're trying to do is you want to make sure that the bulb is below that black portion of the meter cover so it's not visible. You want to make sure it stays away from the meter movement so it doesn't interfere with that. And of course you want to make sure it stays far enough away from the edge of the meter itself so the cover will snap back on. I can't hold the phone and solder at the same time, but basically you're going to just touch the soldering iron right to the pads where the wires go, there and there, apply a little solder, and that should be good. Then cut off the excess wire. To get the old bulb out, what I did, let's grab a screwdriver here, I just touched the soldering iron to the pad, heated up the solder, and just flick the wires off on both sides of the light to get the old one out. And that should do it. All right, let's test this, just make sure they actually work. There we go. They do go on, so we're going to go ahead and put the cover back on. Now, you have this little adjusting slot here which turns around with a screwdriver on the front, which you can use to center the meter if the meter is off. That little point there, if you can see it, wants to drop right down into that groove in the meter. And what I usually do is I line it up so that it's straight in the center. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. All right, it's in place. Now, let's just kind of go over the adjustability of the meter here. Let's see. Okay, there you go. You can sort of adjust it to center if you're out of center. Now, if you pop this meter cover back on and you find that that meter is popping up to 20 or going back further and you just can't adjust it with a screw, it isn't that you got that adjustment misaligned with the groove in the needle arm there. What's happened is you've built up a static charge on the plastic, probably because you took it off and wanted to clean it with Windex and rubbed it down really good with a cotton rag or something to get it cleaned up. What you're going to do is you're going to get one of those static-free dryer sheets. You throw in the dryer to reduce static electricity on your clothes, and you're going to wipe down both the inside and the outside of this. It's going to leave an oily film on it. You're going to go back again with the Windex, but you're not going to go crazy with the wiping. And then you're going to snap it back on, and it should center itself. These things are extremely sensitive to that sort of thing. All right, let's see how this looks. It looks pretty good. Let's turn the lights off, see what it looks like. That's not bad. Turn the lights back on.